Now, it's bad enough that there's not enough jobs out here to go around. But the few jobs that are available, can you believe Americans are failing drug tests in high numbers? I guess now that they're not working, they're just getting high and partying and doing all kinds of drugs. Well, I guess I don't have to go to work, so let me just get as high as I want to get. So it just goes to show you how much is going on besides coronavirus in the country. Now, I did a few videos on opioids and how opioid addiction is still going through the roof. The overdoses and deaths have not stopped, but it just kind of got pushed in the background along with many other issues. So this came out on Bro Bible August 31st, 2020. Americans are failing workplace drug tests in record numbers because 2020, if you are like me, America, you're waiting for a distorted voice to come across a loudspeaker somewhere announcing that 2020 is the only a test. This is only a test of what's going on this year. And unfortunately, no, it isn't. Man, wouldn't that be a relief to know that the US government, otherwise known as they, was just putting us through the ringer to see how much crap we could take, but are planning to give us a much needed do-over in the coming year? Yeah, that's wishful thinking. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to catch such a break. Not unless some stroke of luck, the aliens that seem to be creeping on the planet as of late just so happen to have a big old reset button in one of their spaceships. Just one push and zap. It's all a bad dream until they show up, however. Working class America, at least what's left of it, will have to continue cozying up with the notion that doing mind altering substances is the best therapy for getting through this bizarre, troubling time. And that shouldn't be a problem, according to a new report from Quest Diagnostics, that they are already smoking, popping, and snorting, shooting, and tripping and huffing with enthusiasm than they've done in almost 2 decades. So take a good hard look at all of the people you work with and just know that most of them are high right now. It almost seems like the madness of the past several months has numbed the American worker to the repercussions of doing drugs in this country. The United States have some of the most craziest policies in the world. One that forces many companies to drug test their workers in order to keep the lights on. The American people know this by now, but the threat of catching this pesky virus, borderline financial ruins, asteroid scares, and all of the other death and destruction that this year has shown us is possible. It seems that nobody gives a damn anymore. Nearly 5% of the nation's workforce has thrown up their hands and resigned themselves to showing up to work stoned, tweaked, and on the nod. That's the highest rate it's been since 2003. But in all fairness, all of these failed drug tests is not some wild phenomena representative of an America that has abandoned all hope. Some, but not all. No, most people probably aren't getting blasted before heading to work simply because they've decided, well, screw it. The world is about to end anyway. Drug use has been on the rise across the United States for decades, and that is absolutely true. To that end, somewhere around 11% of the population is high on some illicit substance at this very moment. And while all of the reports concerning an increase in drug use in the country act like they can't pinpoint a reason for it, I'm here to tell you the answer is simple. Life is hard, and more people are finding out that drugs can help dampen the misery. So they step through the escape hatch on occasion and hope like hell it doesn't get stuck. Most manage to do this without an issue. Around 750,000 of them get stuck every year. The pandemic, though, has ramped up things. Wow. So I guess they're going to use the pandemic as an excuse for more drug use in America. America always had a drug problem. Seriously, even 100 years ago, America had a drug problem. There is no question that before COVID-19, rates of workplace drug positivity were trending in the wrong direction, said Barry Sample, Quest Senior Director of Science and Technology. Organizations will need to consider the impact of COVID-19 not only on workplace safety, but also as a health concern for their employee for some time to come. But from the way it looks, most workers are only failing drug tests because their dope of choice just happen to linger in the body longer. Marijuana is one illicit drug that has found its way to legal status in some states, is the most common substance found in a drug test. But you know what? Even back when I was doing a lot of opioid videos back in the day, opioids and marijuana and stuff like that is never the only drug. Usually, if you got marijuana, there's other drugs right along with it. It's not unusual for somebody to do heroin and also be high on marijuana. You know, they said in many cases it's more common for people to have two, even three or more drugs in their system, especially when they do an autopsy on someone that overdosed. Okay. While most other feel good can, all right, so let me just go down a little more. Okay, so it means that someone could use marijuana today and still fail their drug test in weeks to come. So they're saying, the drugs linger in the system a lot longer. This gets many people into trouble, even in places where marijuana is legal, because drug test is for THC are still a thing. Although a few jurisdictions have eliminated pre employment drug screens to help stoners find work. Yeah, it's amazing. Like I said, when the face of the drug addict change, all of a sudden they can get rid of things. Certain tests aren't necessary anymore, so they can hire these people. I don't recall them doing this during the crack epidemic. Most will require them to test clean for marijuana when those random whiz tests come around. In addition to higher rates of positive drug screens for weed, number of meth and cocaine have also increased. Yet the report shows a decrease in positive tests for opioids. That's funny considering we've seen a savage uprising in opioid related overdose deaths since the virus started, wreaking havoc on the country earlier this year. And it still is. It still is. It's just that probably a lot of these people strung out on opioids are not the ones applying for work. It is possible those casualties are part of the millions of people who lost their jobs due to the lockdown. The government tried to slow the infection. What position of the workforce was not getting drug tested during their search for a trap door? All in all, the report shows that America is super high on drugs, and it's probably going to stay that way until our beady-eyed reptilian overlords finally swoop down from the heavens and either turn us into space dust or show us a better way of living. Let's hope that happens relatively soon. No, nobody is going to sweep down and show junkies a better way of living, okay? That is definitely fantasy talk for real. But I am not surprised that now that many Americans are not working, I guess the drug dealers out here are getting a hell of a payout on the extra people that are now not working and seeking out drugs. So I guess that's probably the only viable job out here that pays a lot of money, drug dealing. Go figure, right? But y'all, please tell me what you think about Americans failing drug tests in high numbers. You know, I've done these stories before in the past, before COVID was even a thing. And now you see it has not gone anywhere. Mm-mm-mm. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.